Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers. And my passion is helping people on their e commerce journey, helping them to get focused, get consistent, helping them to make the progress that they've always wanted to make, to hit their goals, to hit their targets, and just to get organized, be consistent for sure. So, if that's you, if you need some help on your journey, you're more than welcome to schedule a free 20-minute coaching session with me. You can go to ecomsellers.com, click on freebies, and schedule a free 20-minute coaching session with me. In addition to that, I invite you guys to come back. We do host our daily ecom planning session, our weekly ecom planning session, and our monthly ecom planning session. And they're typically live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. So we are live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group, and we're also live on Clubhouse. You can go to the e-commerce planning Facebook group and download the daily ecom planning checklist. You can click on the files section in that Facebook group and download the daily checklist. So, if you need some help getting organized, getting focused, I do encourage you to grab the My Ecom Planner. It was created for sellers by sellers, and it allows you to, again, get organized, start tracking your stats, and know where you stand in your business. And then I invite you to join Ecom Sellers Academy, where you can get e commerce support regardless of what method of e commerce that you're engaged in. So, myecomplanner.com and ecomsellersacademy.com. So, with that, we're going to step through 6 ways to plan for your Q3 success. This is not the only 6 ways, but this is a good 6 ways to get started. So, we're going to go through this. The first one is to establish your daily, weekly, and monthly goals. Okay. What are your stats that you're targeting to hit? So, in order for you to actually be able to accomplish those goals, you got to have some targets. Like, do you have a minimum number of listings that you want to create each month or each week or each day? Do you have a minimum number of sales, and what's your profit margin goals, and what's your percentage, your ROI percentage that you're targeting to hit? So, all of those things are good stats to establish. And that way you can track them on a daily basis or a weekly basis to see where you are, or even on a monthly basis, just to see if you're hitting those targets. Um, you should always have goals that you're working towards, getting more sales, maybe having more SKUs this time compared to maybe last year or last week. Always have some goals established. So figure out, based on your method of e-commerce, regardless of whether you're doing private label, white label, drop shipping, print on demand, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale. Figure out what your stats are that you want to establish for the coming quarter, and go ahead and get those noted so you have something to work towards on a regular basis. If you have something to work towards, then you're more than likely, and you're aware of them, and you're paying attention to them every day or every week, then you're more than likely to hit those targets. If you don't have anything to work towards, you're just working your business and you're not really paying attention to whether or not you're going to be scaling or not. You could have higher sales, but your profit margins could be lower because, again, you're not paying attention to a few things here and there. So, we know the cost of goods sold is higher. We know that most of the fees on every platform is higher. So even if you got more sales, your profits could be lower and you could be not even making money. So pay attention to your stats. You should know your stats. What are the stat goals that you want to establish for the coming quarter and for each month in the quarter? And we do cover this in the monthly econ planning session. We actually hosted the monthly econ planning session this past Sunday. So you can listen to that recording live in Clubhouse. You can go to the recording in Clubhouse, or you can go in the e-commerce planning Facebook group and step through that monthly planning session so you can actually establish your stats and your goals for Q3. The next one is to review your 2021 Q3 data and reports. So you got to know your history. What did you do in sales in Q3? What were the products that you were selling in Q3? And what were the products that sold like crazy? Like, what products did you run out of? You should know that data. And then some of your items that you are potentially selling, if you're using the Keepa app, or if you're using Data Spark, or whatever tool you're using to do analysis, like, you can go back and see, when did those items run out of inventory, when were those numbers low, depending on your method of e-commerce. that may matter to you, and then it may not matter to you at all. It may be irrelevant. But go back and look at your data for 2021 and see what you sold and how much you sold and what were your sales stats and what were your, again, your profit stats. What are they? And what are those products? And do you actually have them now? Like, you're really close to July, so we want to finish Q2 strong. No matter what, Q2 strong, finishing Q2 strong is extremely important. But knowing what your stats are for um, for last year, so that you have something to work towards this year. Your goal is to always beat your numbers. And again, you may beat your numbers in sales only because the cost of everything is higher now, but you may not beat your numbers in profit if you're not paying attention. So go look at that data. Go see if you've already acquired those things that you needed to be selling and you have enough in volume to potentially make it through. And, with inflation, sometimes that impacts the buying of consumers. So you have to be prepared for that. Maybe you do have the right amount of inventory, but at this year, because everyone may be penny pinching, this may impact your ability to get the sales that you want. So pay attention to those things and watch your stats on a regular basis, every single day, every single week. But go back and look at your data, your historical data. That's going to help you. Review your 2022 Q2 stats. So we're at the end of Q2. And one of the things we do in the annual planning session is we actually plan for the entire year. What are our targets for Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4? So you can go back and look at Q1 as well. And am I trending in the right direction to hit my goal for the year? So Q1 is your kickoff point. And did you meet your Q1 goals? Yes or no? You only know that. And then your Q2, are you on track? So you're adding those numbers from Q1 to Q2. Are you on track to hit those stats? Yes or no? And there may be some lessons learned in Q2 for you. Like, did you run out of some inventory that you're like, oh, next time I need to make sure I get enough of that? Now, there's going to be specific things that are trendy. And so those things that are trendy last year may not be trendy this year. And the things that were trendy this year may not be trendy next year. But there are also those common staples that people always buy no matter what. Doesn't matter what the design is that's on it. Doesn't matter what color it is. Doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters. Those are the things that you definitely want to pay attention to. You can even go back and look at your 2021 Q2 stats if you've been selling long enough and learn from that and use that to make better data-driven decisions going forward. So go back and look at your stats for Q2, see if you're trending, see if there's inventory that maybe in Q2 that's still trending in Q3 or will be still trending in Q3, and do you have enough of that inventory on hand? Do you have a source for that inventory? These are all things that will help you to continually make better data-driven decisions. You can go out there and do your product research for from 2021, your product research from 2022, looking at those stats, making sure that you have a supplier or a source. I will tell you, there's an abundance of inventory out here in the universe. It is. The liquidation, a lot of the liquidation companies have an abundance of inventory because some of the companies are pushing back on the inventory that they previously ordered from their vendors. And we're talking about the big ones like Target and Kohl's. They're pushing back. And so that means that inventory is going to get flooded in the liquidation space. And have you taken advantage of that? Or are you taking advantage of that? Because that's a lot of inventory that's available. So go look at your Q2 stats, and then you can make better data-driven decisions based off of that. The next one is develop a plan or strategy for each month. So every single month in Q3, you should have a strategy. We know that in July, there's going to be Prime Day, so we know that that's happening. I mean, that's just a given. And so there's going to be a bump on all platforms because Amazon is going to do their best to get more people online to look at the deals. That means that all the other brick and mortars are also going to do their best to get more people online to look at the deals. So the question becomes, what are you doing to get people online to look at your deals? Are you emailing your list if you've built a list, if you have your own Shopify store? Or if you have like you're building your list off of Etsy or eBay of your customers, what are you doing and how are you connecting with them? Do you have a promotions plan? Do you have a sales strategy? Are you going to offer coupons? What are the things that you're doing? Have you optimized your listings? What are the things that you plan on doing for each one of those months? This is also a great time to get better at something. And what I mean by that is that you could spend the month of July getting better at product research. You could spend the month of August getting better at sourcing, meaning you intentionally learn a strategy and execute it in that month. So, taking that on and learning a strategy and executing in that month can help you. And then you could spend September getting better at your ads. Again, taking the time, maybe an hour to 2 hours every single week, and learning a new something and then executing it in that week, every single week of that month. So, what's your plan? Have you put together a plan? Have you thought about a plan? Are you thinking about a plan now? I hope you are. And then you got to get focused, stay focused, be consistent. A lot of people, when they get going, they just are, they're inconsistent. They'll start listing and then they'll fall off, and then they'll start sourcing and then they'll fall off, or they don't have enough capital, or they're just inconsistent. Now, look, life happens. Life really does happen. There's things that happen in people's lives that you have no control over, and those are not the things that I'm talking about. I'm talking about spending time on things that don't make you money. Watching TikToks all day does not make you money. It doesn't. It makes maybe the influencer that you're watching, or the influencers plural that you're watching, makes them money, but it doesn't make you any money. Hanging out on YouTube all day does not make you money at all. Binge watching Netflix or Hulu or whatever else does not make you money. Being online on social media for the sake of just hanging out there, unless you are posting things to sell, it doesn't make you any money. Um, Hanging out with friends and just drinking in the backyard does not make you money. So the goal is to engage in income producing activities that will actually generate revenue for you. You should be focused and committed to creating listings, which means you've got to go out there and do some product research, and you got to do some sourcing in order to, or potentially, if you're doing print on demand, you just need to find your sources, your print on demand suppliers. But the point is, or drop shipping, same thing, making sure you have suppliers. So get better at something in this quarter so that can have a direct impact on your Q4. Figure out what it is that you're going to work on getting better at so you can have a direct impact on your Q4. And while we're talking about Q4, just know that the Q4 summit is coming up. So we want you to be on the lookout for that. And if this information is helpful to you, any of this, please share that out with a friend. Let people know about the daily ecom planning sessions, the morning ecom motivation, so that they can, prepare and position themselves for success this Q4 as well, or make a little extra money, because there are still people that are in need of employment or need of making money. And e-commerce is definitely a viable way to make money. The next one and the last one is to be patient, to allow yourself some grace and mercy. Look, things are going to happen. Things are going to disrupt your plan, your strategy, your approach. Things are going to have a direct impact on your life, and that is just par for living. But the key is to get back up on that horse and get focused again. When those things happen, deal with them and then get back up on that horse. Do everything you can to be consistent in your daily activities so that when you do fall off that horse, you've built the muscle of consistency, and so you're more prone to getting back up on that horse much faster. So, we fall down, but we all get up again every single day. And that's your goal, is to get consistent, to get back up, to get laser focused and get back in the game. So be consistent. This could be an amazing Q4 for you based on the decisions and the actions that you take in Q3. If Q1 and Q2, if you look back on Q1 and Q2 right now and you evaluated yourself and you graded yourself, what would you say about your performance in Q1 and Q2? Would you say that you were consistent? Would you say that you were focused? Would you say that you made good decisions? Did you say that you were lazy? Would you say that you were distracted? We're not here to beat ourselves up, but we're also not here just to um, not really learn anything from Q1 and Q2. So we're closing the books. I do want you to finish Q2 strong. You got 2 more days to do that. But as you go into Q3, what are the lessons that you learned from Q1 or Q2? And if you didn't hit your targets and your goals, you can hit the reset button and make Q3 count for you. Make Q3 count for your business. So allow yourself grace and mercy for the things you didn't get done, maybe in Q1 or Q2. Learn from those things. Do what you can to minimize the distractions. We're not here to stress ourselves out. Mental health is a real thing, but get focused and buckle down so that you can have an amazing Q3, which can have a direct impact on what happens in Q4. So get focused about your product research, get focused about your sourcing, figure out what your strategy is going to be for sourcing. What are you going to do to get the capital that you need, maybe to reinvest in the inventory? If you're going to do an inventory free Q3, then, learning those platforms where you don't have to touch inventory, like print on demand or drop shipping, get focused, get consistent, take daily action, and just don't give up. So with that, I hope that information is helpful for you. I hope that you use it to, make some good decisions in your e-commerce business, and that you begin the process of getting focused. So I'm going to just do a quick recap of the daily e-com planning checklist. You can grab that or download it from the e-commerce planning Facebook group. You can go to the file section and download it. So there's 4 things that we recommend that you do every single day. 4 things that you do in your business to be consistent. 4 things you do every evening the day before, sorry. And then there's 5 things we recommend you do every day. So the 4 things are before you go to bed. 1 is assess your day, review it and rate it. Determine what it is you need to move to tomorrow. What are the lessons learned? Go through that exercise and document your day. Were you able to get through your schedule? Number 2, write down your daily stats for that day. What were your sales? What were your listings? What was the number of listings you reworked? How many orders did you fulfill? All of your stats, and all of that's in the My Ecom Planner. You can grab that and update your stats there, or you can track them in your own diary. Number 4 is to review your online calendar for tomorrow. So tomorrow should not be a surprise to you. You should not be living in reactionary mode. You should be prepared. So if you have doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, if you've got to go, to the insurance office, if you've got to go deal with something, then it shouldn't be a surprise and you shouldn't be reacting to it. You should know and prepare and plan things around it accordingly. And I do encourage you to have a dedicated time of the day in which you focus on your business, if that is possible in your life. Sometimes your life is not conducive to having a dedicated set time. So if that's the case, if you have to have a different work schedule on time on Monday than you do on Tuesday, then just make sure that whatever time you allot on Tuesday, that's dedicated focus time. Let your family know that this is the time that I'm working in my business and I need to focus during this window. Okay. Number 4 is to write down your schedule for today. Build Monday night, build your Tuesday schedule if it doesn't already exist. Okay, build it out, incorporate what's happening in your life, incorporate what's happening in your daily activities for your life and also your business. So build that schedule and review it before you go to bed. The next morning when you get up, we want you to reassess yesterday, because sometimes when we're at the end of the day, we're exhausted and we're not able to, get things done. It just happens, and we forget things that we either encountered yesterday that has a direct impact on our business, or maybe a direct impact on our life, or direct impact on our schedules that we need to build in the future. So go through and reassess yesterday. Number 2 is to review your weekly priorities and weekly habits. This is the last partial week of June. Last week was the last full week of June. So what's on the agenda for this week? What's our focus? What are the things we're sourcing? What are the things that we are doing product research on? Because we're always doing sourcing and product research for the future, not for today. We don't source Father's Day's gifts on Father's Day. Like, we just don't do that. Okay. So we're always sourcing for the future. We're also always planning for the future, And we're always doing product research for the future. Number three is to glance at your monthly plan. Where are you in your monthly plan? You established 20 to 25 goals. So did you hit those goals, or are you close to hitting them? You got, including today, 3 whole days to wrap up June. So, and also wrap up Q2. Are you trending where you're going to hit your Q2 goals? Are you trending where you're going to hit your June goals? If you're not, you got 3 days to finish strong. Number four is to re-review or rewrite or reread your schedule for today. Our goal is to step into our schedule like we're putting on a pair of overalls. So let's try it on and let's get going. As soon as you read it, and maybe you have to rewrite it. You may have to rewrite it and then read it, speak it into existence, so you're ready to go. Let's hit the ground running. Let's pass the baton off from the subconscious mind to the conscious mind and say, hey, you have the steering wheel now. I need you to go. And let's get focused and let's get some stuff done. And then number five is to write down tomorrow's schedule. Build a tentative schedule for Wednesday. We're going to re-review it, of course, tonight before we go to bed. But build a schedule for Wednesday. Last but not least, be prepared for those things that are going to be disruptors, interrupters, impact your schedule, impact your ability to sustain momentum in the schedule and routine that you're building. As you do this over and over again every single day, there will be the gremlin that will come in and try to interrupt that, disrupt it. And your goal is to not let that gremlin win, because that gremlin is the gremlin that always jacks people up when they establish New Year's resolutions and then they stop doing them. So at the beginning of the year. So don't let that be you. Plan for the things that you know are going to be interim, temporary interruptions, disruptions in your routine, because you need your routine to remain consistent. So always go back to the routine. That's the reason why we read the schedule, we review the schedule, we speak it into existence, we speak it into our subconscious mind before we go to bed, so that way we can always refocus our energy on the right thing. So with that, I hope this is helpful. I hope you use it to make great data-driven decisions and take appropriate action in your business every single day. If this is helpful to you, share this out with a friend. If there's something you'd love for us to cover, please type it in the comments. If you ever have any questions, please type it in the comments. We'd be happy to cover that. And with that, I hope you have an amazingly blessed, highly productive, extremely focused, and very profitable day. And we're going to say goodbye for now. My name is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers. Hope you have a blessed day. Bye.